Now Diane Lashinskas is going to introduce our next speakers.
Hi everyone. Next we have a group called Impactability. If they want to come on up, we have Megan Anderson, Rachel Zakowski from the Harbor School, Michael Resnick and Mike Perry, and also my daughter Alexa Lashinskas. She's doing this program right now currently at the Harbor School, and they're going to do a demonstration and she's going to help them with the demonstration.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for having us included on your agenda. As we discuss the important pieces of the transition puzzle. My name is Michael Rusinack.
Michael,
Yes.
can you just know that if you stand by here, then we'll get you on the recording because all of our meetings are recorded, so people that
Thank
can't
you.
make it can watch it at home. Thank you.
Sorry now. My name is Michael Rusinack. I am a retired Boston public school teacher. For 36 years I was in the system. All of those years were in special education. About 18 years at Charlestown High School, I helped found the Occupational Skills Development Center. I spent time at the McKinley School as a job placement coordinator, and I'm proud to say I finished my career with the STRIVE program, dealing with transition at a number of different high schools in Boston. And again, we have other friends from Impact, my co-workers, Megan Anderson and Mike Perry, and we'll be doing a demonstration in just a couple of minutes. The transition puzzle. It has many pieces, the transition puzzle. Job training, travel training, continuing education, community activities, family participation, recreation, and that's just part of the puzzle, part of the number of pieces of the puzzle. But each puzzle piece shares one most important and integral constant: safety. So, as your student, as your child, as the teacher-student leaves school every day to go to an after-school job, and then goes on to a recreation program, and then stops at Burger King, and then gets on the bus to return home. That's a long day with a lot of different activities in the community. Every aspect of that child's day, safety is a major, major concern. The Impact program has a focus on providing safety training that carries over into these different aspects of the transition puzzle. So we had a competitive grant application. Ms. Cord here helped us with the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, and we were awarded a 4-year grant to do this impactability training in the high schools of the Boston Public Schools. We are just concluding year 3 of the grant. We just finished a program at Charlestown High School for students with multiple disabilities, and a girls group that received special training from the Impact instructors. And we're just getting ready to begin at West Roxbury High School, and we will also be beginning at Madison Park High School with a girls group of impactability safety training. One of our goals here tonight is to garner your support so Impact can be expanded in the Boston Public Schools. After next year, the grant expires. All of those trainings of teachers and students was done at no cost to the Boston Public Schools. It was all on the grant, but that is about to expire. So I'm going to pass it on now to Megan Anderson, and then they will have a demonstration. Thank you.
Here. I'm Megan. I'm the program manager for Impactability. I'm also one of the instructors. Meg Stone wanted to be here. She's the executive director of Impact. Unfortunately, she had a medical thing she had to tend to, so here I am. I just want to tell you a little bit about our program. First of all, Impact is a larger self-defense organization. We teach self-defense to all populations, including women, men, homeless shelters, all kinds of different places. And we're partnered with a place called Triangle, which is a disability service agency out of Malden. And Impactability sort of came to be when the two merged, and Meg and others started to see that the rates of abuse and violence against people with disabilities are extremely high, and they need a self-defense program, and there really isn't or wasn't anything like that out there. So that's sort of where we came in, and our collaborators helped us write a grant to receive funds to make this program happen. Mike talked a little bit about what we do within the schools. We have groups of up to 12 students in the special education programs at Boston Public Schools. We teach a 10-week session. It's 8 impact sessions for self-defense and then 2 with Mass Advocates Standing Strong, which are a self-advocacy, self-determination kind of a program. We also work with teachers and paras. We're training and teaching these students to know how to report and what to report if something happens to them. So we want the teachers to know what to do when that does happen. So we also do teacher trainings. Even beyond that, we work as a whole. We're looking at the whole organization, the whole school, the whole disability service agency. Through policies and trainings, we want the whole community to make people less vulnerable to abuse, not just at the student level, but at a wider level as well. So we got our grant funding in 2011, as Mike said. So far, we've reached 185 students, over 200 paras and teachers. And as you'll see, our programs are really consistent with best practices for this population. We're really concrete, hands-on skills, not a lot of talking, which I'll unfortunately be doing for you guys tonight, but definitely some role plays, some concrete skills that we repeat a lot so that they get a chance to really get them into the workings of their mind, really understand what they're doing. So we have Miss Alexa, our star student here, is going to help us show you some of the different skills that we teach, some of the different situations we teach students to handle. And the head instructor here, Mike Perry, is going to talk to you a little bit about how we teach.
Hello.
Hello.
I'll tell you a little bit about, there's a lot of different models that we teach for the Boston Public School System. We've been doing a 10 different session model. And the way we view self-defense, I mean, there's a big spectrum. There's all the way on the one end dealing with a really dangerous situation, and on the opposite end, uncomfortable situations. Maybe we're using like a verbal boundary would take care of protecting that person, making them feel better about their surroundings and awareness. There's basically 3 components that principles that we try to really cover throughout that entire spectrum. And that is, the first is awareness. It's awareness of what's going on around them, but also awareness how they're feeling about it. And the next step is they take appropriate action based on where we are on that spectrum. You know, is it really a dangerous situation? Is it just an uncomfortable one? And then at the end, another important step is that we have them report after each situation. And we have them report to what we call at least 2 safe adults, and that's somebody that they trust and can help them afterwards. It's a scenario-based training. What that means is my role, I have 2 roles. I co-teach with Megan, and the other role is I play out the perpetrator, or like when we do the scenarios, it's kind of like a role play. When I put on my sunglasses, that's when I'm in character, and you'll see a little of that today. Now on that spectrum, we can't show everything because 10 weeks we cover a lot of scenarios, but we'll give you kind of a snapshot of an uncomfortable situation, up to a more dangerous, and up to a very dangerous situation. We'll show 3 different scenarios here today. And the first 2, when I have the sunglasses on, that'll signify I'm in character. And the last one, because it's a more dangerous, it actually involves a force option. I'm going to throw on some armor over there, and just so you know, when you see me put it, I look kind of like an alien. It's got a big duct tape head and all that. So I'll throw that on so you're not shocked. I'm letting you know now.
Yep.
Need anything else?
Yep.
Okay, so when we set up that first scenario, you want to go this way? What's the span on this camera?
I don't know if we're going to be able to.
I might not be able to keep it all
We're
in.
not going to be on time.
Okay.
All right. So I guess, yeah, here's.
We'll switch it up. We'll go this way. Yeah.
So this first situation is going to.
Before we go there, can
Yeah.
you explain your role?
Yeah, oh, sorry. So my role in the class, as Mike's co-instructor, I'm what we call a coach. So Mike and I would do a demonstration to the entire class where I'm in the role of what the student is going to be doing, which you'll see Alexa do. And then when the students do come up to practice, I'm their coach. So I stand next to them, I remind them to breathe. If they forget what to say, I help them out. So that's sort of my role.
Yep, now this scenario here, this is going to be, you know, if you can pretend I'm much younger than I am. Say I'm like in my teens, and I'm going to be a kid who's going to be harassing her. He's going to be calling her names, that type of thing. And it's going to be the type of situation where he's not threatening, but it's definitely annoying and it's uncalled for. And we'll just run that scenario down and show you how that works here.
Yep.
So it's going to be like maybe she's by herself waiting for a ride or something. This kid comes up and decides to start hassling her verbally.
And we have Rachel Zakowski over here, Alexa's teacher, also a great champion of impactability. And Alexa is going to be reporting to her after these situations happen, because that's something we really try to hammer home. If something happens that makes you feel comfortable, that makes you feel scared, you should always be telling somebody about it.
Oh, one last piece. We're gonna say that you know this kid. His name's Bill. You see him around the school and stuff. So when you go to report, you can tell her it's Bill. Oh, just to brace you all, I'm not gonna go totally overboard, but I am gonna say, disturbing stuff. She's done this class a couple times.
She's a pro.
Well prepared, but she's a pro.
Ready? Ready.
Hey, stupid.
Stop.
Well, you're such a moron, huh?
Leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
Wow, what's the matter? Am I bothering you?
Leave me alone.
Why don't you calm down? What?
Leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
Very good.
What happened? Thanks for letting me know.
Good job, Alexa. So,
Huh?
do you want to set this up?
I'll set this up.
All right.
All right, so this next one's a lot different. We're taking a big leap. Like I said, we're kind of moving. So that was at one end of the spectrum. Now we're moving more towards the more dangerous side. So this scenario, this is, we call this an unwanted sexual advance. So basically, the situation is this is somebody that she knows, let's say it's an adult. He's known to her up till now. Everything's, he's been trustworthy and this and that, but suddenly he's going to make he's going to touch her inappropriately. Now the way we practice that in the class is obviously I don't touch them inappropriately. We'll simulate it. They have the option, and we'll do that in a moment. Either I just touch them on the leg or on the shoe, or I just get my hand close, and they'll act as if that was the inappropriate touch. And that'll be the cue for when you get up. So how do you want to do this? Is it the leg touch, the shoe, or you just want me to get close and then you get up? How do you want to do it? The shoe? Okay. So what's going to happen here is we're saying that these two are alone, and this person's going to make that move, and then you'll see how she protects herself on this.
Yeah, this is somebody she knows and has up till now has trusted, somebody that hasn't had this kind of relationship at all in the past. Ready? Ready.
Hey, what's up?
Stop.
No, it's okay.
Don't touch me.
Listen, I'm sorry about that. How about if you sit down, I'll give you $50.
Stop.
If I give you $50,
No. I don't want. My body's not for sale.
Okay, I'm just trying to be nice. You sure?
Yes.
Okay, listen. I won't touch you again, but I thought this was okay. I didn't know. I'm embarrassed, all right? Don't tell nobody, okay?
Okay.
You promise?
Yes.
I won't do it again, all right?
Okay.
Very good, Alexa. Tom? Good, so just to touch a little bit on that one, obviously it's unsettling. It's unfortunately statistically something that happens quite often. And we have different levels of that scenario. That one was obviously one where the perpetrator or potential perpetrator was trying to bribe the person. I'll give you this if you sit back down, if you let me touch you. You heard Alexa say, my body's not for sale, which is sort of a line we teach them to sort of shut down any sort of bribe advances. And he told her not to tell anyone. We also train students to say in the moment, I won't tell, to keep themselves safe. So we don't know what a perpetrator might do if they think they're going to be told on. So we train the students to tell them, I won't tell, and then immediately tell at least 2 people.
All right, so this is the part of the suit. The suit has more, depending on how far we're going into it, actually has a groin protector and everything else. But for what we're doing here, just what I got on is good enough. In this scenario, this is going to be someone walking up to her. She's out in the street, maybe waiting for a ride. And this person's going to try to get her into the car. At first, he's just going to see if he can trick her in. Then after that, he's going to actually move in and grab her. So the technique we teach here is an eye strike. Because if someone's bigger and stronger, it's not practical that you're going to punch them or something like that. But you can hurt anybody's eyes. And a quick eye strike could be enough to catch them off guard, and that's when she can take off. You're also going to hear her get loud with your voice, right? Mm-hmm. So we'll just go with that. With this particular suit, it's designed for me to take knees to the head, and I've been doing it for 22 years. which will explain anything if I seem a little odd here. But, so like I'm very protected here, although you'll see me act as if I was her, because we're trying to give realistic feedback, so.
Audience deep breath. Check out the helmet. You ready? Ready.
Hey, how you doing?
Stop.
I was just wondering, did you arrive?
No.
You sure it's cold out here?
No.
How about you just sit in the car for a bit?
No.
It's okay, come
Leave
on.
me alone.
Leave me alone.
It's all right.
Get away.
Leave me alone.
Come on, we'll just go in the car for a moment. Come on. Hey, come on!
Good, Alexa. No.
Alright, thanks for letting me know.
A couple things I just want to put up before we got to the eye strikes and let people leave with. Alexa, can you go back to your work for a second? We'll talk about what you did before you had to do the eye strike. See, right off the bat, she told him to stop to give herself some safe distance. This might stop it in itself. She also just didn't go with the person. Even we've done stuff for like, you know, your parents sent me all that, so she knows to sort it out and not get fooled by that. And her voice got louder. The louder she gets, the harder it is for this person to conceal it. So a lot of times this stuff won't even go to the physical thing. And by the time someone's made it in their mind, they're gonna go physical. The last thing they're expecting is for her to do anything. That's why they did it. So it comes out of nowhere.
Right, you
Good job.
saw that was a hard, fast shot from
Yeah.
Alexa. That would definitely, you know, knock somebody out enough that maybe they weren't expecting it and they're, you know,
Yeah,
they're
it's a
not
good
that
strike in the
invested.
eye. They're kind of preoccupied for a moment.
Yeah. All right, so that's our demo. You can either sit over the mom, you can sit over here. So before I go on about the program, just to talk a little bit about the reporting piece. You saw in the first two, I don't know if you could hear, but Alexa was able to say, you know, Bill was calling me names or so-and-so touched me in a way, because we're assuming that Rachel would know who that person is. She's reporting it to somebody who knows that person. For this last one where it's a stranger, we teach students to try to remember three main things about the person's appearance that they can't change easily. So how tall, how thin, what color was their skin, and then after that, if they can remember more details, that's great. But those are the big three that we try to get them to take away and report. So, you've seen a little bit. We've seen a bit of a demo. It can be hard to talk about impactability when people have no sense of what the heck we're talking about, because you say, you know, we put on a big football helmet and attack your children, and you're probably not too thrilled about it. But we've been in BPS since 2011, and we have heard a lot of success stories out of that. Every year after we teach a session, we hear from teachers that students are more confident, they have more self-esteem, and they're tackling things that they wouldn't otherwise tackle, which is a huge score for us. Obviously, we hope that our students never have to use an eye strike or something like that, but the general confidence that they get from learning that they can say no, that they can stand up for themselves is also a really big benefit. So just to share some of our success stories, we were over at Horace Mann School in Alston. We had a student that was really thinking about dropping out of her employment program because she felt uncomfortable taking public transportation. She took our class, she felt safer, she felt more confident, and she didn't drop out. She kept going to work, and she kept taking the T. We had a student over at Madison Park who was approached by a stranger who actually tried to assault him. You saw Alexa get loud, a stop sign, say, "Leave me alone." That student did that, and the man did leave him alone, but went away. We had a Strive student, one of our transition students, participating in a summer employment program. She actually had a coworker try to touch her inappropriately, like you saw us practice up here, and she was able to say no, and she also did report the incident, which all these students did, which is, you know, half the battle, to let them see what is inappropriate versus what's abusive, and that that's not okay, and that they should report is a big part. We also had a Strive student break up a fight between two of her peers, which is also huge. You know, that confidence boost that you can stand up for other people is also something that we really greatly appreciate that we're teaching, you know. So, impactability is evidence-based. I can stand up here as a program manager and one of the instructors and tell you it's great. You may or may not believe me, but I can tell you that we did bring in the Institute for Community Health through our grant funding to evaluate our program. Mike Resenak has been in many Boston public schools surveying the students. We did a pre-test, we did a test while they were taking the class, we did a post-test, And we're actually doing a one-year follow-up right now to see if they're retaining what we've taught them. And we found statistically significant changes. They had more personal safety knowledge, which is good, after 10 weeks. They had more confidence in their ability to protect themselves. They reported that they felt safer traveling at night. And the students also increased their likelihood of speaking up when someone touched them in the way that they didn't like, in an inappropriate way. And the way that we compared that is we did these surveys for the students that were on the wait list for impactability, so the ones who hadn't taken the class, and that was our comparison group, and they did not have the same changes. So we know that we are making an impact, so to speak. Mike talked a little bit about transition and how this is important. You can see that, traveling through the community, going to work, going to interviews, all the things that happen as, students get older and try to navigate outside the school system. They need to be safe. They need to be confident that they can handle themselves, that they can protect themselves. And that's huge for these students. And also we have specialized curriculum that we haven't yet been able to provide due to funding, but we have a program that sort of coincides with travel training that, you can teach them how to ride the green line to the 66 or whatever it is, but then what sort of safety concerns are going to come up when you're on the bus, when you're on the T, when you're underground in those stations. We cover that. We also cover assertiveness in the workplace, because that's something that we all need from time to time, and bullying. You saw a little bit of a bullying lesson here. We have a full curriculum to address that, because even though we might like to think it's only in the schools, it does happen in the community as well, and we want students to be able to stand up for themselves. We have a lot of champions in BPS, many of them in this room, and we greatly appreciate that. We have, teachers, special education directors that are finding us rooms, that are pulling students, that are, getting it together so that we can get in there and do this. And some teachers have even gone so far as to create lessons just to reinforce our curriculum, which is greatly appreciated. So those are a lot of our successes. I do want to speak a little bit about some of the challenges that we faced in BPS. So far, Triangle, which again is the larger agency that houses Impact, has raised over $300,000 for impactability, specifically in Boston Public Schools. All the classes that we've done thus far have been at no cost to BPS. And as Mike said, our two major funders, our two major grants are going to be ending at the end of next school year. So we really want to try to make our program sustainable, because we've only reached a small number of the special education students and the teachers, and we want to reach even more. We found that not only just the students need us, but also we found in BPS, a lot of the teachers aren't familiar with the Disabled Persons Protection Commission. I don't know, are people familiar with DPPC? Okay, so DPPC is an agency within Massachusetts that takes reports and investigates allegations of abuse against people with disabilities that don't fall within DCF or elder services, so that sort of 18 to 59 range. They're a special agency, Disabled Persons Protection Commission. Massachusetts is very wonderful and forward-thinking as far as this goes to have this agency. They have reporters, operators that take reports. They have specially trained police officers that know how to work with people with disabilities so they can better serve and not re-traumatize. And that is our reporting agency for the majority of these students that fall in the transition category. Unfortunately, a lot of the Boston Public Schools teachers are not familiar with this agency, even though as mandated reporters, if one of the students that we have taught in impactability comes to their teacher and says, I've been abused, they need to then make a report to this agency, to DPPC. And although many of them are familiar with reports to DCF, we found there could be more training around DPPC. Also, just the mandated reporter responsibilities in the first place. A lot of times schools will have the teachers report to a nurse or to the principal, but really lawfully they need to be reporting directly to DPPC, and we'd love to do more training around that so people feel more comfortable. Because having a student report to you is very scary, and it's very, discombobulating. We do a training that gives like a specific checklist on, first, thank the person for telling you. Second, make sure you're in a safe space, just to help somebody that might feel disoriented or overwhelmed by receiving a report. So we want to do more training around that to help BPS teachers and students. So that about wraps it up. Sorry, I'm rambling. But just like Mike said, we really would appreciate any support you guys can give us around, urging BPS to help share the cost of this program so we can keep teaching your students.
Thank you all. There's handouts on the impact program, has our contact information, and again, thank you for your support.
My business cards are also in the back. Feel free to email me or call me with any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's really a great program, and I can attest to that because of my daughter, and her friends practice it at home. So they are at home using some of the signs, you know, stop, don't touch. So they are practicing at home as well, so I think it is a very powerful program. Next we have, oh, actually, if anyone has any concerns at this point, we do have a general concern form to fill out. So if anybody wants one, Carolyn has
with
it.
their own child or their own child's IEP or program, we have forms for you to fill out so that we can provide that information to BPS and get someone to contact you.